It's mental illness, isn't it? What possessed you to text somebody's husband? Nah, you about to piss me off. At some point, you got to stand up. She was cheating again. Hello, little enzymes. Welcome back to Dacia's Digest. The topic for today is going to be opening marriages. We have 3 stories to cover today. All of the information will be included in the description. Before we get started, just an FYI, if you ever have any questions about anything that you see or hear in the video, usually that will be included in the description. For example, my jewelry, my glasses, my nails, my lip combo, the camera that I film with, the mic that I use, all is included in the description. If there's something that you don't see, you can always comment and I will get back to you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We're almost at 10,000 subscribers. That is so crazy. We're just barely over a year old on this channel. It's just crazy to think how far we've come in such a short amount of time. Anyway, let's get into it. Would I be the a-hole if I complain about my coworker who messaged my husband? Yesterday, we had year-end inventory at my new job I started 3 months ago. I, 35 female, was asked to bring a friend as my partner to help. We all brought our husbands and wives. A few children brought their boyfriends, etc. I brought my husband, 36 male. My one coworker, 34 female, did not bring anyone. She just helped each group of partners throughout the day. Everything was great. We had a wonderful day and inventory was nearly perfect, so we got praised. Anyway, the next morning I get to work at 8 a.m. and 4 minutes into my day, my coworker, who did not bring anyone, asked if my husband has a brother that's single and specifically, quote, looks exactly like him, end quote. I said, no, he only has a sister. She said, oh, that's a shame. So he doesn't have a brother? No, just told you. This reminds me of the meme where it's like, do you have any kids? Yes, I have one daughter. And then it's like, how many fathers? And then ellipses, I have one daughter. It's like, I just told you that he doesn't have a brother. And you say, oh, so he doesn't have a brother? No, I just told you. Are you not listening? What's not clocking? Anyway, OP said, me again. No, why? Do you have a crush on my husband? She literally laughed like a little schoolgirl. Let me start by saying I am far from jealous. I know my husband is attractive. I know I am too. I know my husband is successful. I know I am too. I know my husband is hilarious, kind, makes everyone feel heard and important. That's the exact reason I married him. I thought it was cute that she liked him, and this did not upset me. She then went on to talk about him almost any chance she could for the entirety of the day. That is so weird. And again, this did not upset me at all. He's most likely not coming back here, at least until the next year-end inventory day. She's having a crush. It will pass by next week. What did upset me, when I got home at 4:30 p.m., he showed me that at 1:24 p.m., she texted him, and I quote, hey, OP's husband, spelled his name wrong. How are you today? Your lady is really bothering me. It's mental illness, isn't it? Because what possessed you to text somebody's husband talking about your lady is bothering me when you don't even know that man? You barely know the lady. Y'all been working together for 3 months. That's actually really crazy. OP said, so this woman went into our system, found my husband's phone number, and deemed it okay to text him in this manner. Of course, he did not respond. Of course, he thought it was absolutely insane. And now I'm getting ready for work today, and I will see her in the next hour and a half after her doing this, and I'm not sure how I should or will react. Like I said, I am very far from jealous. I understand crushes and feelings and emotions, etc. But someone going to this level to contact my husband turns me into a grizzly bear. Would I be the a-hole if I told HR she did this? We work for a very large billion-dollar company who takes these things very seriously. She'd essentially lose her job. I mean, it is what it is. If that's the consequence of her actions, that's just what it's got to be. This is just crazy. Somebody said, not the a-hole, go ahead with HR. This will probably get worse in the future for you or another colleague. Right, because if you had the audacity to meet a man one day, a married man at that, go into the system, look for his name, look for his number, type that number into your phone, and then text him with a disparaging comment about his wife, who he's married to, who he has the obligation to. Mind you, again, less than 24 hours after you met him, what else are you willing to do? What other unhinged things do you have in mind? I'm not, especially in this economy, usually I'm not for people losing their jobs, but I am for people facing the consequences of their actions. And if that means she ends up losing her job because HR is contacted, unfortunately, that is what it means. That OP, I feel like all the responsibility OP has to do is to report it. Whatever comes from that is above her at that point. Someone else said, yep, go to HR. It maybe isn't directly harmful since your husband is not a cheater and didn't respond to the text, but nothing about this is okay. Right. Someone said, this is right on. Coworker is willing to do this on the very next day. Imagine what she might do later. This is very alarming. She is dangerous. Protect yourself and family. That's a good point. So update. One day later, she said, firstly, just clarifying, my husband and all the helpers were paid well for their work. The quote, children were 24 and up. We needed 10 extra people for one day. It wasn't slave work. We had a great day, and it was nice introducing my husband to everyone and meeting everyone else's wives. We're going through a very large merger at work, and today was very busy. Our head managerial team was not in. I did tell my assistant manager what had happened, showed him the photo of the text message, and explained that I was very upset with my coworker. He was flabbergasted, and tomorrow we will sit down and tell our general manager what happened. He asked what my resolution would look like, but we both agreed that once the general manager knows, it's not exactly up to me anyways because of the breach in privacy. I do feel terrible, but she really shot herself in the foot. I've done nothing but be very nice to her. Even the quote, your lady is bothering me wasn't warranted because I wasn't even bothering her. Right. Update 14 days later. Hey everyone, since almost every comment was on the exact same page, I really do appreciate everyone's input. With that said, there was an overwhelming appreciation for the need for my privacy, so I'd like to provide that to my coworker as well. She was indeed fired from her position this week, but that's all the information I will provide in respect to her privacy. If she ever sees this, I honestly hope the best for her, and all I have to say is just make smarter choices in the future. Thank you, everyone. All right. Next story. My male 32 wife told me she is bi and wants to explore for a year. What can I do to stop her from doing this? Look, like it's a tale as old as freaking time. Anytime someone who is in a monogamous relationship, that's always been a monogamous relationship, that never, ever, ever had an idea of not being a monogamous relationship, anytime they all of a sudden want to, quote, explore polyamory or open the relationship, they are either one, already cheating, or two, have someone in mind that they want to cheat with, and they just want to find a way to make it right in their head. This is a huge red flag. Unfortunately, the relationship is over at that point. Like, there have been very few instances within these stories where I kind of was like, oh, maybe it could be worked out. Like, previously there was a story where a guy, he used to be polyamorous and then he was monogamous. With that one, I was like, okay, because like it's already part of his nature. But this, come on now. Anyway, OP says, my wife and I have been married for 4 years. She has never said anything about being attracted to other women. Last week, she sat me down and told me she is experiencing being attracted to women and would like to explore this. She said she would only do this for a year to, quote, get it out of her system, end quote. I'm not comfortable with this and am not sure how to handle this. I told her I didn't want her to do this, but she said she needed to or would otherwise start to resent me. I'm at a loss for how to handle this. She is the love of my life and I don't know that I want her sleeping with women. Someone said, so she wants to cheat on your marriage vows, basically. Being bisexual isn't some magic, not really cheating hack. I'm bi and have never had difficulty understanding that when I'm in a relationship, it means I can't kiss other men or women because that is cheating. Right. Because the bi part is not even a factor to me. Just because it's the opposite sex don't make it better. Like, no, that's cheating, bro. Like, somebody else said, is she comfortable with you exploring other partners as well? She is basically asking for an open relationship. So you need to decide if this is for you or a marriage killer. Sorry. OP responded, I don't think she would be. Someone said you can't stop her, but you can file for divorce. Facts. Update a few hours later. Update after seeing a bunch of comments that my wife may have cheated, I called her at work and talked with her. I asked what prompted this so suddenly, and she was being short at first, but eventually said she had slept with a woman on a work trip. Duh! Are we surprised? That was so obvious. I told you either she had somebody in mind that she wanted to cheat with, or she already cheated, and somehow the logic in her head is, if I open my relationship, that's gonna make it. You already did the deed. You already done cheated. That don't make it better. Then he goes on to say, she confessed that it was a couple, a man and wife. She had gone to New York last month and met this couple and went to their room after drinks. I hung up the phone and haven't responded to any of her calls or messages. Right now, I'm sitting in my office, unsure of what I'm going to do. Thank you all for the comments. I really appreciate the support here. If anyone has some divorce tips, I'll take them. I feel so bad for him, man. I feel so bad. I feel like it's so easy when I read these to think from a logical standpoint and be like, oh, you need to leave and you need to do this and you need to do that. But I get it, bro. Like, when you actually in the situation, it's just not that easy to think that logically and that clearly. But I believe he'll make the right decision because this is actually crazy. Like, she actually admitted to cheating. There's really nowhere else to go from here other than divorce. Somebody said, yeah, she was trying to make her cheating okay by stating she's now bi and wants to explore. She didn't care it would hurt you. Also, being bi isn't a free pass for non-monogamy. Plenty of bi individuals choose to be committed to one partner. You entered the relationship under the guise of a purely monogamous relationship. Her, quote, awakening doesn't mean you would have had to agree to her exploring. She was using it to manipulate. She wants to explore, she can do it on her own. I couldn't get past the betrayal and lies to cover it. Wouldn't be able to trust her again. She's made it clear her priorities, and unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be your marriage. Definitely lawyer up and figure out your options. Edit to add, also, if you have shared finances, separate them, take your portion, not all of it, just yours alone, and put it in an account under only your name. Have any wages to deposit in the new account. Follow what your lawyer says, but be sure to protect yourself. Another comment, yeah, my wife is bi and we're monogamous. Effectively, her being bi at this point means she finds men and women attractive, and if we ever did divorce, her dating pool would be much larger than mine. It does not mean that she gets to have intimacy with women because that part of her sexuality isn't being catered to as a woman married to a man. Right. Just because someone is bi doesn't mean they're cheating. Update a few hours later. My wife cheated on me with a couple. I found out this morning. What should I do? I'm at a loss. I've been at work and have been having a hard time focusing. Tonight, I'm going to stay at a friend's house. I still haven't talked to my wife since she told me the truth this morning. I'm pretty sure I'm going to leave, but am struggling with tearing my life apart and leaving her. Edit, please continue to send pictures of your dogs. Those are cheering me up. Look, as I said, I get it, bro. Like, even though we might find ourselves in situations where we know we have to leave, we know it's not a good situation. Sometimes when there's feelings involved and it's hard, bro, but you gotta go. She don't respect you, bro, at all. She doesn't respect you. It's been 4 years. She acting out. I don't know if you could work through this. I really don't. I really don't know if you could work through this. If you choose to, I mean, I understand. Like I said, it's hard, but I'm going to say from the outside looking in, it's not looking good, buddy. I think you should leave. And I feel like if you examine your relationship, you could probably find other instances of her not respecting the relationship. I mean, just think about it. Make a list. We'll go to the next story because he deleted his account, unfortunately. So there's no other update. This other story says, am I the a-hole here for having intimacy with another person after my wife wanted to open up our marriage? Another one. Hey guys, so my wife, female 30, and I, male 33, are married for 8 years now. We had a fair bit of ups and downs during our marriage. 5 years ago, I found out that my wife has cheated on me with a man she knew from Tinder. She told me that after they hooked up 3 times or so. First, I was shocked and wanted to divorce because cheating is a no-go for me. However, she told me how sorry she was and that she only loves me, and she was really trying her best to show me that I can trust her again, and I did. Brother. I mean, brother. Once somebody cheats, it's gonna happen again. There's very, 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 very few instances where it doesn't. But once somebody crosses that line, they've already crossed the line. Like, it's easier for them to cross it again. It's even easier for them to cross it again. Now, I'm gonna say there are very, very few instances where maybe they do learn their lesson. They see how it hurt their partner. They get some therapy. They get some counseling. They work through it, whatever. But that's very few and far between. But that was his decision. He chose to take her back. Let's see what happened here. He said, now let me introduce to you my wife's best friend, Chris, male 31. They've known each other for 15 years or so, and whenever we had issues, she always ran to him to talk. Chris is single. He has had some relationships, but it never lasted that long. I know he has feelings for my wife. Now you about to piss me off. Ain't no way my spouse will have a best friend that I know that the best friend has feelings for them. How does that even make sense? Come on now. Now, you already was on thin ice taking her back after she cheated with a man she met on Tinder and was intimate with 3 times before telling you, okay? At some point, you got to stand up, okay? Let me continue. He said, he is always telling me that he wants a girlfriend that is just like my wife and keeps telling her that I do not deserve her. I never thought much about it because in my head, Chris is kind of a bootlicker. Fast forward 6 months ago, we again had our ups and downs, and my wife shocked me with the suggestion of opening up our marriage. I was shocked and immediately told her that I don't want that. At this point, we did not have intimacy for like 8 months or so. She was never in the mood, and after she was cheating again. Bro, she was never in the mood because she already ate before she came. She already had her 2-piece spicy before you cooked. You get my drift? That's why she was never in the mood. She wasn't hungry, bro. Y'all gotta pay attention to the signs, okay? Pay attention to the signs. He said, and after trying many times to be intimate with her, I just kind of stopped because I did not want to push her. I love intimacy, and being without it for 8 months made me really unhappy. So the more I thought about her suggestion, the more I wanted to try it out. So I agreed. She was baffled at first, but in the end, we both agreed and made up some rules which involved: 1, there are no feelings involved either from us or the person we're intimate with. 2, no intimacy in our apartment. 3, we tell each other when we are intimate with someone else. And 4, we always use protection. I have a coworker, female 28, let's call her Sarah. She is a very flirtatious girl, and I always thought she was a bit into me. One night after our shift ended, we walked to the bus stop together, and I told her about the open marriage thing. She was immediately all ears and was very interested. She joked about that if I want to shoot my shot, I can always ask her, so I did. Well, I told her about the rules and the feelings thing. She made it very clear that she finds me intimately attractive, but that there are no feelings. The next day, I talked to my wife about my coworker, and she told me I can go for it. Some days later, I went to Sarah's place, and we had a 2-piece spicy. It felt good, but it was not the same feeling as when I'm with my wife. The following days, my wife was really quiet and we did not talk at all. I knew something was wrong, so I confronted her. I thought maybe it was because of me being intimate with Sarah. Oh boy, was I wrong. She has told me that Chris and her were intimate. Chris, the best friend, the quote unquote best friend. And the fact that she didn't, isn't that the rule that she tells them? So why didn't she immediately tell him? Because she knew she was guilty. Anyway, he said after hearing this, I freaking screamed at her and we got into a huge fight. Not only did she break the rule of not telling me when she's intimate with someone else, she also broke the first rule about the feelings. Her excuse was that we never made it clear when we should tell each other when we're intimate with someone else before it happening or afterwards. Even if that was true, you didn't do either. So, and you also broke the other rule. So he said, but what really tipped me off was that she was trying to convince me that Chris has no feelings for her. In her eyes, I was overreacting way too much. I did not talk to her for 2 days now, and I'm staying at a friend's house at the moment. In my head, I keep thinking that Chris is somehow manipulating her so she separates from me. So am I the a-hole? Now, sir, come on. Like, yeah, Chris manipulating her. Did nobody manipulate her to log on to Tinder? Did nobody manipulate her to cheat on you previously? Did nobody manipulate her to cheat on you again with someone you probably don't even know with who because she wasn't intimate with you for 8 months? It was something going on there, okay? Like, let's not lose the plot. Let's not start trying to blame other people for your wife's actions, sir. Like, you know who you married. You know who you're married to. Okay. Somebody said she was effing Chris the 8 months your bedroom was stalled out. Give your head a shake. I agree. I don't know if it was Chris, but I know it was somebody. Somebody said, yep, absolutely ridiculous that this hasn't been picked up on. Somebody said, my guy, will you please have some self-respect and leave this woman? This is some of the most ridiculous crap I've read. She cheated on you multiple times, opened the marriage up because she doesn't find you attractive and then doesn't even follow the rules. She doesn't respect you. What did I say? She don't respect you, bro. Somebody said there's no way she hasn't been messing with that guy before the open marriage. Cheated multiple times before, open up the marriage to sleep with said guy who's been around for 15 years. OP needs to get a backbone and move on. Look, as I said in the previous story, I understand, when you're in it, when you have feelings, y'all been married for 8 years, probably been together for longer than that. I get it, bro. I get it. It's a lot of feelings involved. You want to try to see the good in people, but you got to let it go, bro. Like, she's cheated on you multiple times, bro. You got to let it go. It's not going anywhere. If anything, it's going to get worse and worse. And you're only 33. You could find somebody better. You got so many more years of life ahead of you. She does not respect you and she will not change. And eventually she might divorce you. She might get tired of being the problem and be like, you know what, actually, let me just move on to something else. This is not exciting anymore. Just let it go, bro. Update 1. Thanks to all the harsh comments calling me names, it really made me realize what an effing loser I am. Anyway, got an update and am also answering some questions. Yes, my wife is fairly attractive. I heard that from colleagues on multiple occasions. She's that Pilates/yoga/fitness type of woman. She got a boob job 6 years ago, which I paid for, LMAO. Nice behind, brown hair, green eyes. Me, on the other hand, I'm fairly average looking besides my height and physique. I don't have anything else going for me. Because of my wife's fitness addiction, I got into it as well, and as a result, got pretty jacked. My best friend and I came to the conclusion that she's only with me for the financial security. I got a solid education, well-paying job, plus my parents are wealthy. My wife has not been working for 3 years or so. I was also planning on buying a house this year. Yes, I think so too, that my wife was intimate with Chris and probably other men before the incident. Let's get to the update, however. I'm still at my friend's place In my mind, this marriage is over and I am filing for divorce. I tried to tell her that yesterday over the phone, but she was not answering my calls for 3 hours or so because she was probably enjoying a 2-piece spicy with Christopher. Anyway, so I've sent her a text before going to bed telling her that it is probably the best to separate and that I want to file for divorce. I woke up to an excess of messages. She was angry at me at first, but shifted to apologizing and wanting to work things out. We agreed on seeing each other today, so the next update will probably be the last one. Bro, your friend is right. I ain't know she hadn't been working for 3 years. You're the meal ticket. You're the meal ticket. Chris ain't got it like that. He's a BFF that she actually really wants, but she need the money. I mean, yeah, with every update, with every detail, it just gets clearer and clearer. Update 2, same post. This will probably be my last update. I just had lunch with my wife, and it was blatantly obvious how she was trying to manipulate me again. She has confessed everything. Her and Chris have been intimate for over a year now. Are we surprised? She started crying about how it is all her fault and how she wants to get back with me. However, I've had enough of this. I told her that I'm going to file for divorce and left her crying at the restaurant. Meanwhile, I've already made arrangements with our family lawyer. I'm staying at my dad's place for a couple of days so things can cool off a bit. He's very supportive and is actively helping me with the divorce. Thank you again for all the comments. I might do another update in a week or so we will see how this shit show is going to end. Someone said, what do you even see in your wife? You sound like roommates that just argue all the time. Opie said, she was very loving and caring, and that is why I married her. We were planning to have kids. I don't know what has changed, honestly. I was a guy who always tried to rekindle our relationship, and maybe she's just not into me anymore. My parents got divorced when I was 9, and it really hit me. So I always wanted to make it better. But at this point, a divorce might be the best solution. I don't want to bring up any kids in a relationship like this. Yes, please don't. That person responded and said, a single guy telling the husband that he doesn't deserve her is a deal breaker. If they're willing to say that out loud to the husband's face, they are announcing that they don't recognize the boundaries of your marriage, and the only thing stopping them is the right opportunity. OP responded, reading your comment made me realize what a freaking prick that guy actually is. You are totally right. Because ain't no way that a woman, the best friend of my husband, would come up to me and be like, you really don't even deserve him. Bitch, who the fuck are you? And why do you feel comfortable coming to me saying that? That's actually really crazy. Somebody said, divorce this woman before she has a chance to get pregnant, and all 3 of you wind up on Maury for some DNA results. And he deleted his account, so there's no additional update. So we will go to the palette cleanser. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and maybe even tell a friend to subscribe to the channel. Like I said, we're almost at 10,000 subscribers, which is actually really crazy. But I love you guys, and I thank you so much for the support over this time. Let me not get emotional. I don't know, I've been really emotional today, so let me not do it. But we will go to the palette cleanser. It is from the r/petty revenge subreddit. And we haven't done a lot of petty revenge recently for our palette cleanser, so I might do some in the next few videos. It says, my firefighter uncle had his food stolen, so he took it upon himself to let them eat shit. Not my story, but one my uncle told us at a family barbecue years ago, and it has lived rent-free in my head ever since. My uncle was a firefighter working long shifts. I was young at the time, so I don't recall the exact hours, but what I do remember is that the man could cook. Thai, Indian, Mexican, always something packed with flavor. And his desserts were simple but so good. His rice pudding in particular was legendary. Being smart, he meal prepped and kept everything labeled in the station fridge. But his desserts kept going missing, especially the rice pudding. No note, no apology, just gone. Eventually, he'd had enough. He left a polite warning on the fridge to whoever keeps eating my food, Stop, there will be consequences. Of course, someone ate it again, so he made another batch, but this one was special. Still rice pudding, still cinnamon on top, but this time he added one secret ingredient: dried white dog shit. He lived on a 5-acre property and went into the backyard to collect some. It wasn't hard with them having 6 dogs at the time. He crushed it up with a spoon, that's disgusting, stirred it through the pudding, and topped it off like normal. Disgusting. Then he took Polaroid photos of the entire process. He left the dessert in the fridge at work, and what he assumed would happen, happened. The next day, he casually laid out the Polaroids across the station kitchen table. His meals and desserts were never touched again. Now, this happened back in the 80s, so I have no idea if he got in trouble or if the other guy complained, but I think looking at my memory of my uncle, he was like a manly man, and I'm sure his coworkers would have been the same, not likely to reveal themselves for piss poor behavior and admit to eating dog shit. That is disgusting. I would be like, I have questions. Cause like, did they eat the whole dessert? Did they just eat like one spoonful and was like, tastes a little weird. Let me take another spoonful. Nah, this is not right. Or did they like eat, like how much of the dessert was consumed? That's what I want to know. I mean, even just a little bit would gross me out. But they shouldn't have been eating somebody else's food. So if it's not the consequences of their actions. That'll do it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.